cuffs are off, man.
Hey everybody, Adam Rank here.
What's up, friends? Daniel Dopp here from the Fantasy Focus Football Podcast over on ESPN.
It's Fabs here, Michael Fabiano from Sports Illustrated.
And you know who you can trust if you've got some questions about your fantasy squad?
Want to check out a cool show on YouTube that'll help you get ready for the fantasy football season?
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network.
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network. If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? You want to lose your league?
Head on over to YouTube. Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network because they're doing everything they can to make you a better fantasy player.
You got to get right with the Get Right Fantasy Network.
So go and roll your sleeves up. Yeah, go and roll your sleeves up. And I'm getting down cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting right cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting down cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting right cause I
What is going on? What up, world? Welcome back to the Get Right Fantasy Network. I'll be your host for this evening, Kendall VanDerBilt, joined by one of our co-creators over here, Fish and Frank. How are we doing tonight, Frank?
We're doing good. Just another one here. We're getting it in the books here. I'm glad everybody's here mocking. We've had some really tough ones to grade so far. I think that we have a really good group of people in here. So I'm excited to see what they do tonight. It's crazy. I'm glad that we got some preseason also out of the way, right? We got to see some of these rookies play.
Yeah, it was definitely good just seeing some football. Good to see a lot of things happening, right? It's I think we all want to overreact just because we're seeing football, but you know what? I'm in for it. You know, it's fun to get it and go in there. So, anyways, quick, just start at the top. We this is week 2 of our Get Right Fantasy Network mock draft tournament of 2025, 4th annual running. We had a really great week 1. This is super flex week. It's also double mock draft week because incidentally, I was running behind in starting the tournament. So we were going to have to double up a week, and why not be super flex week? Why not double up the week that we finally had a little bit of football and maybe changes up the ADP the most? So thought it would add a little bit extra spice to the tournament. But without further ado, it is super flex weeks. If you guys have been watching, or if you haven't, check out the previous live streams. They are fantastic drafts. People really locked in. 30-second picks only, and folks are still basically making picks in 10 seconds. Super locked in. And we got a room full of drafters here. So I'm actually going to go ahead and get this tournament started here in 3, 2, 1. Let's go ahead and get this draft started. And yeah, so here we are. It is
in here, Pastor Sauce. I'm just looking at the guys real quick.
Yeah,
some ESPN for life. We got some new guys coming in through here, some original guys coming back in. Aiden White, Adam C, Uno Gas. Yeah, some familiar faces and some new faces. Glad to see a mix. That's good. That's a good mix to have here.
Hopefully Boomer does not auto draft. Don't do this to me, Boomer. I think he was a little bit late checking in, so we'll have to see. We haven't had a full auto drafter just yet, but I am not going to go back and restart the whole thing, unfortunately. So,
well, we've paused them before just to get the guys in, but it happens from time to time. Some people have bad connections. It happened to me the other night when I was trying to get in here. And he's on auto now. I try to get in there, and I was going from house to outside, so it was switching from Wi-Fi to cellular or whatever, and just kind of caught me in the middle right there. You know what I mean? So sometimes that happens. I sent a message to see if he's available, and he's on.
Yeah, I'll get him on. I'll get him in the chat the best I can. Worst case scenario, no one's going to complain about one auto and super flex draft making it a little easier.
I mean, that was going to happen regardless. He would probably took that player anyways. It's the later picks that you have to worry about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, hey, it's going to be what it's going to be. I think this is, feeling pretty good. Definitely our first auto drafter. So maybe he'll come back. We had Uno Gas kept falling asleep. He works like 18-hour shifts before he gets into the draft. Always a solid drafter, but I think on double up week he like overloaded the caffeine, so he's going to try to make up for it. But I think that was our original auto drafter. But he woke up mid draft last time, from what I remember. So maybe Boomer will get back from the garage or whatever and join us. We'll have to see. What are we thinking about the first round so far?
Let me take a look at it here. They went JJ here. We got obviously just running quarterbacks going early, obviously because it's super flex. We got Allen, Jackson, Daniels going off the top. Somebody decal went with Bijan, and then Justin Jefferson, and then Burrow, Hurts. I mean, it's just standard stuff. I mean, obviously this kind of format moves the quarterbacks up higher. I like to have about 3 or 4, hopefully at least minimum 3 quarterbacks in this type of league. And if you're going to go basically just low number 3, you should have at least 2 of them right off the bat, or maybe, kind of quarterback, wide receiver, quarterback kind of situation, or, running back, that what have you. But I wouldn't wait long on getting your quarterbacks, because all the good ones and even the bad ones are going to go up pretty quick, right? I mean, anybody's going to be producing any kind of numbers will be gone pretty soon on these type of formats. So you got to be, paying attention, careful who you're drafting. The wide receivers and running backs will fall a little bit, and that's okay. I mean, you could get them a little bit later. So I wouldn't try to go after wide receivers and running backs too quickly, because they will come back around anyways.
Yeah, I think Chase at the 101's pretty interesting. I'm not saying it's a mistake by any means. Hey, but what's up, Rafi, Aiden? Rafi, notoriously moving on, so he really can't draft much more. I had to throw him in there. Chase, interesting at the 101. I got to be honest. I have been drafting in Superflex. I have been doing a lot of. I love quarterback 13, 14, 15, 16, 20, 22. I'm so comfortable with the later quarterbacks that I have been really not taking a first quarterback till, I'm not kidding, like round 4 in some of these. So I have been I've been the weirdo. I'm going to see how these guys draft. I don't take anything away from the guys that usually go QB or a little bit earlier. But I don't know. Have you done?
Oh, so you do the opposite. You try to wait on your QBs a little bit.
Not every year. Every year I'm definitely looking to play the board a little bit differently based on. And we mock more than anybody, and I mock with other folks on top of it and all that good stuff, right? So it's different every year based on how I think the metagame is going to evolve, how I think the most competitive mockers in different leagues, even between different leagues. But if I had in a general competitive, highly hyper competitive folks that are really plugged in based on how ADP, ECR, popular hot takes in the fantasy community, I usually play it a little bit different every year. I was normally an advocate, like last year in particular. I wanted to go double elite quarterback, 2 QBs through 3 minimum, and I was very fine taking 2 right away and basically helping egg on more of a QB run, a start a panic, if you will.
Yeah.
That the falling value I would get later on just made a lot of sense, and in all the mocks I was really liking it. But this year in particular, it's just that I see so many upside cases, or like a flat tier. I mean, I think from Kyler Murray all the way down to, QB 14, from Bryce Young to Kyler Murray, I think they're closer than they are farther apart in many instances. And so if I can get not just a 2-round discount, but let's say, if I was in a draft where, do I want one elite QB, like hyper elite QB? Yeah, if I'm an early pick, I'm okay with it. I'm not going to fade it on purpose. Like for me, there's a big tier break with Chase, and then the big 3 running backs for me in particular. Really, part of me is fading Saquon just a tiny bit with agent and carries. But outside of that, I'm fine with one of the super premiums. But yeah, outside of that, I will wait for ages this year, mostly because I think I can get not just a 1-round discount, but a 2, 3, 4, 5-round discount on my QB2. And I'm also fine with like Russell Wilson as my QB3. Not super in love with Aaron Rodgers, but like I'm fine with just having an elite bulletproof positional group and saying if my QB gets injured, I am in trouble. And that's just the way them's the breaks. But positionally, I'm going to be, it's a 5 bench spot league, right? With so many starters that I'm just begging that my top 2 QBs and my QB3 is only a bye week fill in at best. And I'm fine with like whoever wins the New Orleans QB battle. As gross as that sounds, like I'll take that in this format, but it's really about 2 low tier QB2s. So that when you look at the starting lineup, though, that you're facing down, CMC and Gibbs, and Lad McConkey or something. And it's a place where if our QBs just happen to be having a hot day and your Mahomes doesn't, it's going to be there. But
yeah,
we'll see.
Rafi Bob's agreeing with you here. Superflex give me Knicks and Dak later all day, and they have been being drafted later, and they do perform well. I like that. We got some guys here saying what's up. This
Yeah,
Tabor Productions. I am in the house.
Yeah.
What's up? What's up?
Sabrick, new friend of the show. Love the engagement in chat there, man. I think you guys are in a league with Perk maybe, or a couple of guys, but those boys have been adding some fire to chat. It's been good. Keeps me on my toes for sure. Oh man. Okay, John's one of your earliest, right?
Yeah. And then was Chris Dodger here.
Chris is ESPN for life in the draft. He's drafting from the 109. How you doing, Chris?
Nice.
Chris, I'm pretty sure that's you, right? I'm thinking I'm crazy right now, but I'm like 99% sure that's you, right? So glad to have you here, my friend.
And speaking about overreacting on the preseason, I have taken DJ Ugalele in the first year. I'm not sure about that, but who was it that ran it back? Was it Travion Henderson?
Oh, that's my boy Andy.
First play of the game, catches the ball, runs to the house on a punt return, a kickoff return. That was incredible. I was like, oh, this stock just went up. I was like, hey. But we had Aiden White here also just basically take Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's at the end. Then he takes Baker Mayfield and Bo Nix. So he locked up his quarterback run there. I was wondering if he was going to start another, some QB run, but no, people are staying with their guns. They're taking their positional players first. He's the first one to get 2 QBs on his roster. So it's interesting that everybody is playing the waiting game. Let's see who, at some point the run will begin. I think that you can only wait for so long before you're like, these guys, the QB is going to score more than these other dudes no matter what. You know what I mean? At some point you have to make that decision, right?
No, certainly. I got the draft board pulled up on the other another monitor here, just so I'm so addicted to just knowing who's still available on the board here. And we still got Caleb, Purdy, Drake May, Goff, Stroud, Love, Fields, JJ. I mean, I think there's at least 10, 12, 13, 14 if you get all the way down to like Bryce Tua level. There's like perfectly viable. I mean, Tua is scary as heck, but Bryce, Cam Ward, Penix, Trev. That makes I think 12 quarterbacks in total get to go off. So we'll probably see a big shuffling of those QBs.
I think that the run has started.
Yeah, I think it's kind of started.
Pastor started some Kyler Murray, Dak. Then he goes Fields, Laporta going off for Boomer, and then he goes.
Seedale having a real
Goff.
think here. Must be between Caleb and Purdy, or maybe he likes Drake May here. This is kind of an interesting tier of quarterback.
How do you feel about Caleb this year?
I mean, Ben Johnson is a great play caller. So he's not just a head coach. His strength is play calling. The biggest challenge is how quickly I'm really concerned that some human beings, not especially professional athletes, just don't really have when you get to when it's the top 1%, they kind of just don't have it in them. They don't have a lot of the characteristics. I'm partially worried that Caleb Williams. I've had the same criticism of Kyler Murray. And I think, while he's been good, I think he has not lived up to what we wanted him to be, where a guy like Josh Allen mentally seems a little bit more there. Sometimes the way they carry themselves. I'm concerned I'm a Bears fan, right? So I think there's hope for anybody. And I think Ben Johnson is probably a smart enough, emotionally intelligent human being to, if Caleb has a shot at being a very good NFL quarterback, I think Ben Jay is gonna bring it out of him. But my big concern is Ben's been there for a couple months. Is there a realistic scenario where Ben needs a year? Much like Dan Campbell in Detroit. How good were they year one when Detroit was kind of a tire fire to some extent, didn't have a lot of hopes? Mm-hmm. It took Dan a while. There was a lot of hope that season, but they had a losing record. And then they turned it around in a big way. I think everyone in Chicago wants Caleb to do it right away because Caleb's been in the league a little bit now, but he may need a little bit more tutelage under Ben Johnson, perhaps. So I think it's going to be a slightly disappointing season to start, but I think he'll get there. And I think when he gets there, if he gets there, it's going to be worth the payoff. I have a lot of hesitancy. You're going to see a lot of Bryce Young performances, but also a few like you see later in the year, right? So I'm being cautiously optimistic. If you're talking about fantasy with Caleb Williams, I mean, he has fantasy third place is cute, right? We're really going for top shot. So with that in mind, why wouldn't you go with look at their offensive weapons, right? The NFC North is also a very competitive league division. You have to put up points against the Vikings. You have to put up points against Detroit. You have to put up points against the Packers, simply put. So many of his games could turn into shootouts by the nature of what are you going to do in the entire third, fourth quarter when you're down potentially a touchdown and a half? That's going to lead to 40, 56, at least 50 pass attempts on a given day, right? The chances he can just average 25, 30 completions. They could throw the ball at a crazy level, right? When a new head coach comes in, you could see them throwing a lot. I think they want to establish the run, but what are you going to do in the fourth quarter? So with that being said, I think I'm a little bit higher on, honestly, Drake May. Right now it's really rising in my rankings, especially where he's at in ADP. So I think I'm at the point I might take Drake May over Caleb Williams, but the upside with Caleb's weapons, when Luther Burden's your wide receiver 3, Colts plus, add a George Kittle and Colston Loveland, or compare him to McBride if you want to a little more favorably. That's a lot of weapons. It's a lot of weapons, right?
A lot of help, right?
I mean, how good does Caleb have to be to unlock that offense? Not good is the thing. He doesn't actually have to be very good, right? Sometimes Purdy is really elevated by just great weapons and good coaching, right? Do we think Brock Purdy is really like an elite NFL quarterback? But he really has put up like mid QB1 numbers, right? Mm-hmm. So we're not even. Remember, we used to like Caleb because he had legs too. I mean, what if Ben has him run a little bit? I don't know if that's in Ben's book, but I think if Ben doesn't get it out of him in the throwing game, tell me there isn't a world where if you're coaching that team, you're Ben Johnson, brilliant play caller, and Caleb's just not putting it all together. Well, didn't Ben create an amazing run game? I would just give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe the run game doesn't just help Swift. Maybe it helps Caleb.
Yeah, Rafi was agreeing with you some there. Ben Johnson, in that case, he was talking about Vikings and JJ.
Yeah, that's a good dig. It's a good dig, but I mean, I was staring at it this whole day, to be honest with you. Just know it. It's too clever for me not to not to agree with.
And back to this draft right here is Aiden White notices there's 3 QBs in the first 6 picks. Wow.
And 0 QBs in the entire second round of a Superflex draft. There was 0 QBs in round 2. I've never seen that.
So this guy took Justin Herbert,
which is sick.
Caleb Williams, and Cam Ward. So not bad. I mean, he started off with Bijan Robinson, Drake London, and Ladd McConkey, which I really like this year. So he has a stack in Ladd and Herbert. Yeah, I mean, you got to get him in. I mean, I feel comfortable with 3. You have to have 3, 4. I like to have, but I mean, the fourth guy is just in case somebody gets injured, right? Like you're saying, scenarios being what they are, if you could get 2 starting quarterbacks and just have the third as just your bye week replacement, and you're okay that way, then you could really stack up in other positional other positions in general, right?
Yeah.
But I don't, I don't know. It's just sometimes in reality, I think is you still need a fourth.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how
hurt the most. I mean, I'm not the most, but I mean often.
Yeah, I mean it's impactful when they do for sure. I mean, I guess the good thing is like look in Superflex, if you play like there's strategy to it, right? In Superflex, I'm a little more if I'm in a build that's fragile QB, okay? One, I have the option of I can actually instead of dropping someone to waiver, if I have a really hot bench, I will quite often, very few people do it. I definitely do. This is actually like one to pay attention to. I will sell a player for just like 20% fab. And it's a player that will hurt me, but I will do it specifically to guarantee me if everyone has to fab dump on like an, oh my God, massive, injury, like Daniel Jones goes down for the season. Oops, A-Rich, no matter how bad he is still going to run for 2 touchdowns a game or something sick, and you have to pick him up off the waiver wire, or you know what I mean, something like that. If you just have more than 100% of fab, you get your guy every time, or you don't fab dump on the Isaiah Likely this year because hey, if your QB goes down because you have 2 and basically no backup, you're going to have to get that backup. You're going to have to win that fab bid. So go light on the early fab dumps, have it available. Unlike, prioritized waivers, you just won't win that week, and now your QB's gone. You have no replacement. In a fab system, you can go with just the 2 QBs with basically, like almost a handcuff third QB. And, during a bye week, as long as your QBs don't have the same week, it's start a positional player in there. I run most leagues that are 4-point passing touchdowns, this one included. So if you're killing it on positions, right, you should be able to find at least 15 points on your bench and strong flex.
Yeah, you're the kind of guy that kills me because of that. I like 6-point bets. It's almost like, yeah, let's stubborn everybody down and keep it even so that you could do those kind of things, which I agree at some point. I get it. But
I just it also has to do with the disparity of like, then it gets in like, because I feel like leagues then get into in super flex, it gets into like, well, you got to do third round reversal. I've never been a fan of when fantasy football is so quarterback driven from a game theory perspective, because like, look at the real NFL. Quarterbacks get to literally break all the rules, right? They get paid exorbitantly more money than everyone else. They're so clearly more important. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just not good for a fantasy game. It's not good for game theory. So it's like the part of fantasy football I want to be different than the NFL. I want it to be more like sports betting friendly. I want it to be more gamble friendly. And so I have to like, I'm a fan of like 4-point passing touchdowns, -2 for interceptions, -2 for fumbles, like really just ripping them up. Like I want a QB on a bad day. Because here's the thing. I'm actually, if you do 6-point passing touchdowns, I would do -3 for interceptions and -3 for fumbles. I would basically crucify him for a bad, because think about it. If it's the most important position, when a quarterback has a bad fantasy day, multiple turnovers, pick 6, I would make -6. Think about it. As a quarterback, if you pick 6, there's a couple $100 million in the field, and you just literally gave the other team a layup in a game that a layup is like 10 layups. That should be like, you should have near, like, when a defense gets hammered, right? For anyone who plays in defensive leagues, like that's negative points. I think quarterbacks, if you're going to go volatile and make them valuable, you have to kill them the other way. But that's swingy. It adds variance. It adds a luck factor. So
yeah, well, I agree with some of that. Some of that I can see why you would want to like ding them a little bit more if you're going to be waiting so much. But I always say, hey, you got to draft accordingly. If you already know the rules, you know what you're playing with, you know what that they're that valuable. Don't wait that long. You know what I mean? Don't wait till the last guys that are not, high producing QBs. I mean, that's why some of these guys like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson,
Lamar Jackson,
Burrow,
JJ McCarthy. Yeah, dude, this auto drafter, outside of drafting 500, it's a 3 wide receiver league. But if he somehow magics his way into just like a run of 5 wide receivers that are golden, oh man, if you just change out James Conner with like Jameson Williams or Ridley, all of a sudden his draft's cooking. You're not wrong, man. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it'll get interesting. Here. Let's see. Most of these guys got their second QB already, except for Dill. Only one QB. Let's see.
We got a 0 QB build here.
Yeah, ESPN for life going for the 0. Yeah, I mean, there's only two other guys with one QB here.
I was gonna say the 0 QB is still viable for me. It's like if I'm him, this is it right now. This is the 1-2. I'm taking quarterback back to back, but there's I still think there's probably like 8 very viable QBs, and with everyone having so many, he is going to be able to wait even a little bit longer if he wants to, depending on tier. Oh man, I mean, if Tyreek Hill hits. I kind of like the way he is. Either that or he's metagaming. Either that or he knows that I kind of like this build if he pulls it off.
See Dale's thinking here. Oh, there he goes.
Interesting.
See, Dale is the one that needs the second QB, and so's Bub right here coming up after him. Neither one of these guys have a second QB. So if he could get past those guys, he could pick another positional player, come back around, and then possibly take. Oh, nope. He took Bryce Young, so it's dwindling it
Bryce
down.
Was a tier break. Bryce and Penix, with how good they looked, were kind of tier breaks for me. And then like also I think Sam Darnold's getting unfairly like buried in the rankings right now. If I'm being honest, I get that like Sam Darnold might not be very good, but like Penix is completely unproven with like one wide receiver and an injured Mooney who should be good, but Darnold has some weapons in a very reliable running game that can support him. I feel like Sam Darnold is still a fine. I don't love him as my QB2, but I'll take it.
Oh, I didn't have this. I traded Trey Lance for $5 in Fab last week. He sold high on that one preseason performance. He's like, it's good as gonna get.
Oh man,
I like it.
I think he could have gotten 6. I don't know, maybe 6. Yeah, but I mean, it's functionally the same thing, though, right? I really like that play. If you're at max fab, if as long as you don't spend it, as long as you have 101%, that's still enough to like full like insta win, unless somebody else does the same strat. But it's been a thing before. I would have had the option the year that Puka went nuts. I fab dumped every single redraft league for Puka, not because I'm a genius, absolutely not, because I was in like 27 redraft leagues that year, I think exactly. And I was like, my strategy was, I thought I had a perfect read on the board that year. I really did. I felt great. I furnished a few bedrooms of the house that year in redraft. The wife has let me spend all my nights with you guys ever since that year, pretty much. I fab dumped Puka because I'm like, oh, there's an opportunity for a league winner, and I do not want to have to worry about 27 waivers every Tuesday. Like, I just physically can't do it. So I'm going to fab dump everywhere I can as fast as I can, so I don't have to worry about waivers. I'm going to shoot my shot. And Puka just happened to be the guy that year, so it worked out famously. But I like that. He takes
a QB now. I think Bub made a mistake here because he took Evan Ingram. You already have drafted Brock Bowers. You didn't need to get a backup tight end, or at least not that early yet. I would have just waited on whoever because you're riding your Brock Bowers pick, considering that's your second pick. I would have went for my second QB or a different positional player other than backing up a tight end.
I think they're just playing chicken at this point. I think they know that. So what I'm curious is, I think we are about to get into the. I'm just looking at flex rankings here.
Well, it's like Rafi said right here. Even the super flex drafts, quarterbacks seem to have gone earlier in our mock drafts here than usual, and we had. But mostly because everybody's seen what everybody, you see it here, you see it live, and you see the tendency of some of these other guys. It's kind of like being in the draft room with your friends and that you've been playing with year after year. You kind of know their strategies as well to kind of hold out a little bit longer and see if they can. Some of these occasions, people were just creating the runs where this guy took one right off the bat, took a second one out, and then it just kind of creates that scarcity where you're like, well, I don't want to be stuck with these low end guys, so I'm going to get my guys too. So we see what happens. Go ahead and move us up to the top of the board here. So we could
take a good long look there. Yeah, I think this is we'll see. I so want ESPN for Life's build to work, but I think for me the Judkins and the Shakir pick, if they could have just been QB, I mean, he still might work. It's like I want it to work so bad. I want him to still get 2 viable QBs. For me, if he can salvage it with 2 of, I've got like 6 QBs in mind. If he can just get 3 of those 6, like, I'm going to give him a lot of points for Gibbs, McCaffrey, Henderson. Henderson is like borderline an RB1 for me this year in redraft. I'm so high. I wanted he was already stupid high on my board, and now people are giving me an opportunity after his he went sick. Like, he's going to spice up in redraft rankings, and I'm still going to reach for him above that. So I think my ideal draft.
Somehow I started the clicker. I don't know how to turn that off.
It might be on your phone.
No, it's not on my phone. I'm not on the phone at all. It's
okay,
a draft board.
I just reload the draft then.
Oh, that's probably what it is. I shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have clicked on it.
Oh, Dill takes Penix off the board. That was one of my for sure locked in picks for ESPN for Life over here. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Bub finally took his
Gino there. Here. Oh, we got Dylan in the chat. What's up, Dylan? Saying what's up, fellas? Would you trade?
Took Sam Darnold. There we go. Takes one.
It's happening. And maybe he's playing the meta game, but I like Darnold's nice for me there. I'm very happy with it. Dylan says, "What's up, fellas? Would you trade a 1st round pick, a 1st round, and a 9th rounder for 2 2nd round and a 4th rounder?" I need a format here. Dylan, new friend of the show. Welcome in, my friend. Can you give me a little context? Are we talking dynasty startup? This is what it feels like, a dynasty startup or something like that. I'm not understanding the. I'm here at 9th round, so that tells me startup. I think you're asking one of your first 12 picks in a dynasty startup. Trade your 1st and a 9th for 2 seconds and a 4th.
I can tell you, when we started our dynasty, all kinds of trades like that were happening.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Yeah, if it's a super flex dynasty startup. Oh wait, with keeper league, I was gonna say that's a crazy good trade in startup. one player keeper league. We draft new teams every year other than so this is it's keeper trade. Okay, now that I know it's a keeper trade, would I trade my first? So the rounds are neutered a little bit in keeper. The idea is there's a massive tier fall once you get to like round 2 or 3 in keeper because everyone keeps so many players that it changes it a little bit. Frank, I don't want to cut off your face any longer than I have to, by the way.
That's all right, man. They know where we're here. It's all good.
It's like I'll move it around. I don't know. This is interesting. Generally, I think, yeah, the big thing here for me is, and I've really studied keeper league because I'm in a similar format and I try to solve this thing. I win this league.
It seems like they probably move the keeper and have the keeper be that first round pick for them, right?
Well, I mean, if you're playing keeper optimally, you're using your later round picks as keepers, so you have optimal value. If you're using a keeper within the first 4 rounds, I think it's usually a mistake, or it's just like you had a bad keeper blot to pick from. Basically, some
people do that.
I mean, this is not like a first round rookie pick. This is a first round. The idea is that the difference between the first and second round is not that crazy, and getting 2 seconds just for that first is already crazy, and then you're getting a fourth on top. Yeah, this is easy. This is a smash pick. Yeah, Dylan, for sure. If you can, because I know what you mean. The idea is so many good picks are off the board, basically, that the second round has a pretty significant tier break. But 2 second rounds and that fourth, moving up 5 rounds on the from the 9th to the 4th is just too much. It also unlocks a lot of builds with 2 seconds. Because RB tier breaks are massive when all the good rookie RBs that smashed. They're all the keepers. So running backs get disproportionately taken off the board as keepers more often than not. Sometimes breakout tight ends too. Just stuff like that. So yeah, with that in mind, you're still going to be able to clear out a tier of running back with your 2 seconds if you wanted to. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I would.
Where does he say 2 seconds? It's just 1. Oh, I almost read that as 2. First and a 9th for a second and a 4th. Then I was going to say it was like a ridiculously good pick. What's your first round or your second round? Are you both middle picks? Dylan, let me know if what's your actual 101 for it. And what's the second? Can you give me what value you're getting? Generally, I'm thinking though.
Correct. I have Amon-Ra in the 6th round this year, so they are taking them in the round that they're picking.
Appreciate that, Depp. By the way, I would have. Yeah, I would have totally missed that, dude. By the way, Depp Premier, man, how you doing, man? It's been a minute. Depp is man, when I was I was into Dynasty, but I was still learning and getting into it. I wasn't I was a redraft guru at that point, but had not figured out Dynasty to a higher level when it came to market value and thinking in 3-year windows. But Depp, good league runner, good dude, man. Good to have you in here. Good to have the OGs.
I like the way Aiden's thinking. He's 2 in the Superflex in the 12th. Yes, please. Starting him every warm weather game and benching him against good teams and in cold games.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Hey, man, you ain't wrong.
I think you can just start your Baker Mayfield and Bo Nix and start him, again, matchup dependent. I think that really helps a lot. I'm not too fond of ESPN after all that he took Aaron Rodgers. I would have took Matthew Stafford instead, possibly. I'm just not a fan of Aaron Rodgers. I think he's done and washed up. Even Jackson Dart was starting to look good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, if you're that fragile, though, I guess Stafford's currently injured, and Rodgers, outside of the injury, to be fair, Rodgers has stayed very healthy his whole career. He keeps in impeccable shape. I'm more willing to believe that the Rodgers injury stuff has more fluky.
We're gonna have to move our pictures up now.
Oh yeah. Thank you for all. We'll do our little production magic over here.
One sec, guys. We'll get out of the way. There we go.
There we go. So yeah, I don't know. I don't hate it. I think you just need a. Oh wait, Dylan's back here. I want to help this. I want to help Dylan out here.
The guy I'm trading has round 2, pick 5, and I'd be giving him an end of round 1.
Oh yeah, dude. If you're moving down 7, 8 picks from the first round, but you're going from the 4th to the 9th or 9th to the 4th, yeah, dude, smash that. Smash that. I love it. Because here's the thing. It's a keeper league. Dylan, here's the real thing. I had to think about format. When you're streaming and asking questions, trying to read a board, listen to Frank occasionally, you're not going to give the best advice all the time. I'm literally drinking a lot of whiskey over here. But Dylan, no, this is a solid, this is a format. I'm not kidding. I'm in a league. I'll get my brother on a Zoom call and I will map out. I will have apps like galore, and I will map out every possible like iteration, because I'm in a league that has a lot of keepers, so I can map out like 50% of the draft board. It feels like it. It's not really, but like it's really like 15% of the draft board's keepers, right? And so I'll map it out and figure out like, oh, this strategy is gonna smash. I'm gonna take this player right here exactly, and so I get this. There's a science behind keepers that is just super fun when you really nail a board. Yeah, moving down the key is 9th round is going to be absolute crap. That's the thing. There's so many keepers, and this is a sub 10th round pick. So all the good players are gone by the 9th round due to the keeper value being sapped early. So by the 9th, it's just actual crumbs. The 9th is going to feel like the 12th. But the 2nd round, yeah, it's going to dip, but it's not by enough. I don't think that the 4th rounder, the 4th to the 9th is such an upgrade that I want it. It puts you in a tier of player that's just different. It takes a useless pick and turns it into a good pick. So that's for me, though. That's also, I have a lot of guys that I like. I have a lot of targets that if you give me an opportunity to like say, hey, my 2nd round pick's actually my 1st round pick, it just has to play like it, I'm fine taking that bet. And what about you, Frank? Are you just rather like, do you want to go get your ultra super stud round 1, or are you okay having to take some value picks, just having more of them in a redraft setting? Or keeper, I guess.
In a redraft setting or keeper?
Well, I mean, it's usually key. It has to be keeper because you're not going to trade picks in redraft. But in your keeper style leagues, do you typically go for like value in the mid rounds, or do you want super premiums? Always got multiple.
I'd say value in the mid rounds, because the way I do my keeper league, it's where you draft a guy and moves up one spot every year type thing, so that you could get that value built in for having drafted well, like later get those value round guys like you're talking about. So I'd rather have a value round guy because I could keep that guy possibly for longer.
Yeah,
as a keeper.
Yeah,
in a redraft, on the other hand, I'd just take the higher pick. Period, because it's one shot. I mean, you're not gonna keep the guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dylan, another question. How competitive is your league, right? Because here's the question: if it's a pretty competitive league, I definitely do the deal. The softer the league, the more I want some safe options. Actually, maybe I'm doing the trade in either case, if I'm being honest. Well, the point I was going to kind of make on this is the more competitive your league is, the more you need to shoot for upside. You need to win every pick. Like you need to win every trade, because 3rd place is cute in fantasy. It's not a money winner. It doesn't cash necessarily. Like, if you're in a poker tournament, 3rd place would pay. In fantasy football league, 3rd place doesn't cash. It just doesn't. It's not, it doesn't work that way. It's a different game, right? So you need to play riskier. You need to win it all. Just like in poker tournament, you need to win all the chips. It's that on steroids. So I want to take the bet of, I'm going to call it. I'm going to have a 2nd round pick that pays off a 1st round ADP, and it's going to be worth it. And then I get the value in the 4th, and I can spin that value all the way up the chain. So, for all those reasons, man. And just do trades, man. You find a good trade, do it. It's good for the league. It's fun. It gets everyone else trading. If you got more trades in the books,
and the juice is flowing.
If your partner wants to do it, do it. Do another trade with him too, right? If a trade feels pretty good, I usually say just do it because it's good for the league. It's fun. I think a lot would agree, right?
Yeah.
Leagues need people to trade, right? Like I love being the guy that says I just want to find like a middling trade that's like value neutral, but just get something done so people look at their phones and it creates a little something. You know what I mean? So, but hey, we got a draft, by the way. Tyler Shuck, Mr. Irrelevant of this draft at the 15-1 over here. But hey, in preseason, that deep bomb for a touchdown looked all right. Yeah, and I see in the actual, you guys can't see it, but in the draft chat, everyone's kind of talking like how many people lost to auto draft. So guys, in the Discord, for sure. I just want to let you know, I'm gonna put you on notice. All right. I will DM you if I thought straight up. I'm gonna be real with you. I think Boomer beat you. I'm gonna tell some people. There's no way I'm not doing it.
I like the last pick here for Dill and Zach Ertz. He had pretty good outing, and he looks pretty good over there in Washington. So
yeah, double flex, plenty viable. Compared to who's going around that round, Dill, that's a really nice pick, man.
Yeah.
Gotta be honest.
Agent's asking who's I went with between Algier and Strange on that last pick. Who y'all prefer?
Where's Aiden's draft? You ever hear on the 112 there, my friend? We're thinking Algier or Brenton Strange, second round NFL pick, sophomore season for him. I don't think you need the tight end. Do we like Algier? You went kind of hyper fragile. You went 0. You went hyper 0 RB. You didn't draft an RB till the 7th round, you sicko. I love it, dude. If I could give you just like an honor point for like just going for it, that feels kind of cool. Caleb Johnson, Tony Pollard. By the way, I traded for Tony Pollard in Dynasty like 5 times this offseason and 2 times last offseason. Tajay Spears finally getting injured. I love Tajay. I handcuffed him everywhere too. But Pollard's going to be fantastic. He's actually RB1. Flip those.
This guy's enjoying the injury. Like, did you hear him? He's like, finally, it paid off. I'm waiting.
I have been like on the Pollard will be great train forever, but like I keep getting decent value for him in trades, thinking like, oh, like it's Dynasty. I mean, he's got like 2 years. I get it, but like a good 2 years. Like I could win 2 years. Rashad White.
Scadaboo's injured, isn't he?
Well, Scadaboo's currently injured. Rashad White is currently injured with no timetable.
Yeah.
Facial Tootin is very clearly not startable yet, as he will not win the RB2 job just yet.
So I'm glad you picked up a Tyler Algier.
Yeah, I mean,
these
you're
guys that are
0
injured
RB.
already.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you kind of need Algier at this point, out of necessity. You need Algier for sure here. I don't know who else was even available.
Definitely need him over a tight end.
Yeah, no. Algier's the pick there, Aiden, for sure. I'm not even like I'd have to look at your board build a little bit more to like grade your whole draft here. But yeah, Algier absolutely the pick. Brenton Strange. You can always pick him up if you want to at any point in time, but you're getting first or not getting first is going to have nothing to do with Brenton Strange, and it could have something to do with Algier. So even if it's 2%, that's the right pick.
Yeah,
and not to mention like
that's for sure.
If Bijan gets injured, Algier is the best pick in your draft. Actually, like he's not just a handcuff; he's a hyper handcuff. Like I took Algier in my like third round of Dynasty a lot of years. He's probably the most Algier versus Charbonnet. If they get the starting job, who do you want to start? Let's say Ken Walker and Bijan go down for the rest of the year. Who outscored Charbonnet or Tyler Algier?
That's gonna be tough, but I'd say
Isn't the fact that you have to think about it kind of like telling though? Because Sharps goes like a lot earlier.
Yeah, he went 3 rounds earlier than Algier.
Yeah, I mean, and Chris is like, dude, actually, yeah, Tyler, right? Like in that offense, he's already super good. You just know he's going to hit the free agent market at some point and just be a dude somewhere. Like he could wake up as Chase Brown but beefier tomorrow. He'd be very good. Like if you're the Chargers, you're just very happy they have Najee Harris instead of if they had Tyler Algier, that backfield would be disgusting. So yeah. Another question in chat. What do you think here, Frank? Instead of Flacco, Sanders, and Shuck, what do you think about Stetson Bennett instead? What do you think about this?
Stetson Bennett, huh? Gotta look this guy up. Wasn't he doing some things last year?
Stetson? No, Stetson's just been a quiet dude. Was there off the field stuff? I don't think there was any off the field stuff, was there? I just thought he was just like practice squad guy for sure. I remember the scouting process.
Oh yeah. No, he was. He does nothing. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I mean, look, you're throwing the ball to 2 wide receiver ones in what should be a high scoring offense if he gets the job. But like at the same time, I don't know. Jimmy G's getting the start over him, right?
Yeah, I think Jimmy G will get the start over him for sure, and he looked good.
Yeah, I think the problem is McVay is not the I want to go train up a quarterback. He's such a good like operations manager. Like he runs the team well. He's good with that stuff. I don't think McVay is interested in getting to know and tutel a young Stetson Bennett. I don't think that's in the plan. So if it happens, I think it's not great. It's like you got the young kid who doesn't know what he's doing and all the savvy veterans. I don't think it's going to make a lot of sense. So even if it happens, I don't see like a ton of upside where I think there's enough weapons that like Shuck has some legs, which is nice. Sanders, I mean, more legs, I suppose, not as much as Shuck, but I mean, if you have to pick one, I think the idea is I want the one that has the highest chance to start, and I don't think that's Bennett. So I'm just going with that. I think they're all within a fraction of a PPG game. I'm just betting on availability. Who's going to get the job? And Shuck for sure is way ahead of those guys for me.
Yeah, I don't see him hitting the the starting job anytime soon. So I wouldn't worry about him.
I just think I mean, if you need a startable QB, and that's why you're taking it, right? It's Flacco Shuck. And then if you're playing for upside, actually the upside's probably Sanders. So Stetson Bennett's got like 4 on my list there. So we'll have to see. Was he rehab last year? But Stafford looks great. Looks like he's starting. Stafford's going to play more games than you think. All the injury risk, he's either out for the season or he's going to play a scary amount of games. And the pain
Stafford's
management is more like, I'm getting older, guys. Are you guys getting a little older? If you could numb me the hell up because I have to go practice this game I'm already good at and I'm better than all the young kids, and it's like I don't need practice at this point, but I kind of do a little bit. Yeah, give me the epidural, do the thing. I think he's going to be serviceable. He's just such a warrior. I'm not worried about Stafford and his unathletic self. Like these unathletic quarterbacks, they just need to be able to throw the ball. That's it. They're going to move 2 feet. They can shuffle backwards 5 steps if they need to. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, Stafford will suck it up. I've seen so many games where he's just like dislocated shoulder or something's going on with that guy, and he just comes up. The guys are picking him up, mopping him off the floor. And I'm not like, why don't you guys protect him a little bit, maybe? But anyways, right? But he just comes in, like you're saying, he's a warrior. He'll come in and get the job done. But how long can he do that? I start thinking backup, start picking somebody else up, man, because I don't think he can continue to do it forever. If he's taking these epidurals, obviously his back is just jacked,
Right. So Dill wants to know, did we cook? What did you think about what did you think about Dill's draft over here? By the way, what do you think, Frank? We got a couple minutes here. We got another draft.
I like Dill's.
Yeah, Frank, if you look at a couple of Dill's picks here, I'm gonna pop over to the draft chat for quality number 6.
Do we need to start the other draft right now?
No. We got 10 minutes before that's supposed to go live. I'm gonna do some check-ins with these guys just real quick. Let's talk about some picks for Dill, and then I think we got a couple in chat talking some lineups here. I'm just gonna.
No, as I mentioned earlier, I like Dill's last pick of Zach Ertz. This weekend, preseason showed some stuff that he has there. I like that. He goes Austin Eckler too. He's got a stack there with the Washington guys here at the bottom. But that's not bad. I mean, Justin Jefferson and Brian Thomas Jr. like them. Kyron Williams, Kamara, Drake May, his first QB. Rashee Rice, Hunter as well. You got DeAndre Swift here. In Chicago, you got Bryce Young as his second QB. He picks up Michael Penix as his third QB. Mark Andrews with Isaiah likely injury. He's back in. That's why I'd like the backup of Zach Ertz as well. So you're not spending a lot of draft capital on some of those guys. And he was able to build up a lot of his positional wide receivers and running backs at the top of the board here. That's a pretty solid team. We're gonna have to take a look at some of these guys. Other than I think Bub, when he took that, Evan Ingram still bothered me because Brock Bowers is the number 2. You shouldn't have to, waste the number 9 round pick. You could have waited and got somebody, Jonnu Smith later on. Even Jake Ferguson, who goes much later. Kyle Pitts, who's going much. I wish I would never draft Kyle Pitts anymore. I just felt like that was a mistake on his part, taking Evan Ingram when he took him. Hopefully he beats out Boomer. I mean, because Boomer's this auto draft team doesn't look too bad. Quite honestly, it's just too many running backs there with the Connor pick. He could have went somewhere else. Obviously, auto pick is not working in your favor. We're going to have to look at some of these guys. ESPN taking the no QB look, comparing his team to others stack up. I'm not a fan of the Aaron Rodgers at all. I think he's been done. I don't know why they keep putting him out there, but yeah, as far as fantasy is concerned, he's just not what he used to be, obviously. So it's like, really we want to do that. Rafi Bomb says, I really like Earl's draft. I've been seeing Earl drafting here lately. That guy's been a solid drafter. Taking JD Daniels, Devon Achane, Chase Brown here. Terry McLaurin, Goff, Pickens, Ridley, Golden, Diggs. He just takes a run of wide receivers there. He finally comes back with Williams there in Dallas and James Wright. Just a little bit weak on the running back, but I mean, if you don't need him with that many wide receivers in that core that he's got, sticks of younger Jared Goff and Daniels. Didn't take a third QB, which I think I would have liked to see. I would have liked to see that over like the Kyle Pitts. Didn't need to take a second tight end. I would have been happy with Loveland. Yeah.
In the waning moments here, what did we get to in chat? Any lingering questions just before we switch over to the other board while we're on this board
here? Yeah, he's like the only other guy that here with only two QBs. I normally like Earls, but he missed out. I think he should have got another QB.
Quick favorites before next draft. Now I see you, Adam. I see you guys. And Aiden, you know we're listening to you for sure. Adam, my brother over here, good friend of me, good friend of the show, great league runner, by the way. If you didn't see his post in chat, seriously, check it out. He's a good Dynasty League commissioner. Always happy to shout out a great league commissioner. I'm gonna look at your team and everything. I'm not gonna look too granular here, Adam. I want to give you like a real answer, but I'll try to give you an in or out of top 6 idea. Try to throw Chris a little bone here. I don't know. I'm looking through. Superflex is tough. It makes you consider like the quarterback positional room just a little bit more. Where did it go? I agree with you. Earl's draft does look pretty good. Man, I got to think here a little bit. I think did ESPN's for Life draft come together? I got to analyze that a little bit more, but it looks. I mean, if the quarterbacks work out, there's a very good chance ESPN for Life draft. If the quarterbacks work out, other people are going to have to draft impeccably. Otherwise, he might make my top 6. I kind of like that he pulled it off. I'll have to analyze it a little bit more. Looks like it could work, though. Certainly could work. I like Uno's draft because his RB3 actually kind of has some staying power. Is quite nice. I really like Adam. Adam kind of pulled off mid QB, later RB, so we could go elite at wide receiver. A lot of the guys I like in the middle rounds. Samson Garendo feels pretty nice for me. I gotta look. Boomer, as much as I want to, I think the ragtag team of wide receivers is not going to do it for me, despite Mr. Auto drafts out. Jamar Chase, but can't get the Burrow in round 1, so the 101 is a little less powerful. I don't know. Chat, it's hard. It's really hard to give a top 6 like fairly. I have to like really just look at what players do I like, who took the most, my guys. Whatever I say now, I could literally change my mind when I really analyze the draft. So just for you guys asking, I want to let you know the reason I'm not giving immediate answers is because it would be very easy for me to just glance at a team and say, I kind of like it. But I really do spend like over an hour like agonizing as I grade this. So I need you to know I put that much time into this. So it's kind of a thing. John's draft feels pretty solid to me too. I think he got nice value with Pearsall and Pittman and Moore. Just his wide receivers are just good enough that they could really make it happen. Stable all around. Still managed to get an elite quarterback and tight end. I feel like John's probably in my top 6. I'd have to look at Jaywin.
Oh, that's literally who I was looking at right now.
Yeah, I like him.
He's in my top 6.
I like Adam right now. Aiden might score high, except the Rashad White, Bashal Toot, and Cam Scadaboo. That might. It's a lot of injured guys, and you knew you were injured when you drafted them. I get the idea that once they're uninjured, they could have upside, but missing training camp's the thing. I just think I would have liked a little bit of like even like a Samson or a Benson above Scadaboo, I think would have made more sense given what kind of occurred. And I just think there could have been some slightly different picks later. And you're definitely playing like first or last ball. I got to look at that a little bit more. Your other positional picks plus Ayuk at a value might make some sense for me. Dill, I do think you did cook though, by the way. Williams, Kamara, Swift is a super stable 3. You're not going to have to worry. You don't need to worry. And you're very solid elsewhere. And you got the most out of your quarterback value with Young pushing it to the 9th, Penix to the 11th. Dill, yeah, I got to agree. I think you got there. Aiden, I want to give you a higher grade. I think you could have taken slightly less risk and just shored up your running back room a little bit more. I'm saying in real life, you have a build that could win a league, but it does have a slightly higher amount of risk reward than I think you need to. And so I have to allow room for a more savvier way to manipulate it a little bit. But that being said, I have to look at Baker Mayfield and Bo Nix in 3-4, and I have to tell myself, if we're not sure at running back, I know that we can get value with quarterbacks I like in round 9 and round 11. So if we're deficient in multiple positional groups, or at least one, I look at early quarterback and say, I got to punish it somewhere, I suppose. So I hate to give bad grades, Frank. Do you ever find it tough when you and Ruskin were doing shows?
Yeah.
Like, because it's like,
no, not at all.
If I see a lot of B pluses and I get to give
that,
somebody
no.
like a, hey, I didn't like 2 picks, but everyone drafted pretty good. Like, I want to find all the highlights. Like, it could be a really sick build. Like, it's got some risk tolerance, but
yeah, we try to put ourselves in their shoes, and like Anthony would always say, well, he has trading power. Like you mentioned, in these guys, they may not be good now, and when they get healthy, he could trade them away and get these other players and move.
I'm coming around to his build. I got to be honest. A part of me says Rashad White's ADP is depressed, and that's why he got him late. And Bashal Tutin, we could see. I mean, it's a pure upside pick. Who else was on the board? Aiden, you're not done yet. I got to look at your draft. You might make the top 6. I keep liking it the longer I stare at it, but it's 10 o'clock, guys, and the other draft might begin. Frank, any closing thoughts? Guys, I will actually in the Discord, throw me up a couple specific questions, if you will. Any questions on this draft that I can't get to, like, at me in the Discord and draft. I will go pretty granular later on this week. I'll answer a lot of stuff, and I'll individually grade and talk about a lot of picks in the draft itself. So we're going to pivot a little bit over to this draft board.
Yeah, no, I think JWN's the one that's in there for sure. I can't say anybody else, but him for sure. Yeah, see, you agree with me on that. That is an Ingram blunder. The rest of it looks good.
See if I got the right draft board up this time. It doesn't always happen that way.
Yeah, let me close out that one, and I'm going to pull up the next one as well.
Oh, I think we nailed it. We don't always get production right, chat. We got it. We got it this time, though. And all right, I'm gonna give them a ready, and then we'll get going. So, real quick, guys. So we're doing double drafts tonight. So we had a 9 p.m. draft. We just wrapped up about 9:30. Little commentary, and then we are gonna go ahead and roll on to our qualifier number 6, week 2 qualifier number 6, 2025 Get Right Fantasy Network mock draft tournament. For those that joined us halfway point and you'd want to know what a mock draft tournament is, it's awesome. Super awesome. We find our community is pretty much based on a lot of the mock draft degenerates that are out there. They hit up all your mocks. If you guys are content creators, they run the circuit, so to speak. So we do this little thing where we roast a mock Monday through Thursday. We grade the drafts, top 3 from each. That gets you to 12 by Friday. Those 12 go into a semifinal mock of all the top 3 mockers. Top 3 of the top 3, so to speak, move on to the final. We put them in a real best ball league on Sleeper to battle it out for a draft that counts for everything. And at the end of the year, best ball team draft. They go ahead and they win all the spoils. Bragging rights, $50 gift card. They're getting a one-on-one session, a little one-on-one boot-capped nuanced redraft session with me if they so choose for next year. And we'll see what else we can throw in there by the end of the year.
Be right back. I'm going to get something to drink. Be right back.
Do your thing, man. I'm going to go ahead and get this draft started up for the folks. I didn't realize. Oh, yeah, Rafi is in this one. Well, Rafi, here's the thing. If we can find someone in Discord that wants in, we will certainly get it. I'll post a message in Discord. You're definitely not supposed to be in there. It'd be a fun final boss if no one else wants in, but I'm gonna hop in the Discord here. See if anyone want Rafi's spot. We'll have to see. Rafi, I just popped it out there, so we'll have to see. My friend, you might have to just draft. If I get anyone, I just add it all in the Discord. So if anyone wants to pop in, he can do it. All right, he can do it. Rafi, unfortunately, it's an honor to kick you from a mock. It really is. I feel like this is a bonding experience. Me and you haven't done this, so let's do this. It's good for us to do this once upon a time. It's open. Get in there. was gonna say you guys can do it yourselves. That's fantastic. Help me out in production over here. I like it. Yes. Yes, Dill. Very nice. Chef's kiss indeed. Like Bubba's Teams by the Ingram Blender. Yeah, I think we talked about that a little bit. Too open. Hey, I think we're good. Cool. Who grabbed it? Did Tay get in there? Looks like think someone sniped you there, Heat. Yeah. Uh-oh. Is that Chris in here? Yeah, looks like it is. Hey, that's fair play. You're watching the stream, you're paying attention, you're getting ready to hop in. Yeah, as much as I love our friends in Discord, I wish everyone could get in. That's the thing about a 12 person mock. It's gonna be like that sometimes. So, all right, where to go? Got to close Discord window. Let's hop in chat here. Ready to go? I think we're all good. Yeah. All right, mock drafters, you should be watching. You know what's going on. 3, 2, 1. Let's get it. Let's see some good mocking. Let's go. And we're off to the races. Aiden, 32-man mock coming soon. I need a dev that can handle a 32-person league here, but you give me the tool and the computer, I'll run commentary on it, man. I like where your head's at.
32-man mock.
We're cooking up some spice here. I said, hey, you got you find me the tool, the app that can handle it. I'm in. Let's do it. From a game theory perspective, I would never support it. That is a bridge too far. But I like it. I would like to see some 14 teams though. I think I'd like to bring the 14 team as Dynasty gets more and more of a thing, and people get better at looking at deep rosters and making better later picks. All of our later round picks seem to matter, when back in the day it seemed like more dart throws. I do like the idea of doing that a little bit. We actually got 2 32 team leagues. We got a best ball, and the other is every team manages an entire NFL team dynasty style. That is true degeneracy, and I absolutely love it. For any of the folks watching, do you guys do anything this crazy? Is it fun? Does it have to be so fun? Because I feel like the competitiveness of it has to be secondary to just the meme-worthy, like, that sounds like a good time.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like playing Madden and being like, you know what? I don't want to do a dynasty with Madden, the Chiefs. Right? I want to take the Jets back to famedom or something. You know, it's like, it almost feels like a badge of. I would love to do that with the Bears. That would be so much fun. I would never mentally survive owning and having to play all of the Chicago Bears in Dynasty, but man, it would be fun, like one game a year. We'll have to see. This draft, are we starting off a little bit different? I wonder, Frank, what do you think? Based on reading the board, do you think we're going to get?
I think we're going somewhere similar. There's a couple of guys that took the first QB right off the bat, and
I kind of like. I want to
wait a
couple
QBs
more
around
two again. I want to.
Yeah, we got to wait a couple more rounds.
Because like, if I were in that last draft, I would have looked at that last draft and said, "Hey, there was some insane value once the early panic died off a little bit, and you could get a lot of value." I think the idea is a lot of folks want to get one they feel good about quickly, but I don't think anyone's going to rush for their QB2 right away. I mean, some will, but we've already seen not a single QB2 off the board. So, yeah, that would be my prediction. Is I think QB2s are going to have a pretty big gap. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, I think it's also because it's like a tier break too. Like right here with these guys that have been taken, right? Allen, Jackson, Daniels, Burrow, and Hurts. And I think after that, there's a tier, right? And so people are comfortable taking the positional guys there in the running back and wide receivers, and then come back around, waiting a couple rounds, and then, you know, they either start the run or there's a run that happens that they get to their second guy. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of the right way to do it. I think, and feel like it feels better that way, for at least for me. I feel more secure. I'm not as risk averse as you are, going that deep as, you know, ESPN did in that other league, right? The last draft where he waited that long. I would not wait that long. I would not I wouldn't feel comfortable with my team, even though all the other positional spots are better than other teams. I just don't. As we were talking, the quarterbacks score so much more that you can't wait that long. I mean, if this is being a 6 point, again, that comes back to the 6 point or 4 point for passing touchdown, because the scoring will matter if you can wait that long. If you're a 4 point, you can wait that long. If you're a 6 point, I don't think you can wait that long.
Dude, this is so sick, man. We are at the 3-6, and we only have 5 quarterbacks off the board in Super.
That'd be cool. This is cool.
This is so sick. Like, you need a particular group of folks together who are. It's a total game of chicken. This is the most meta. This is why fantasy football is cool, guys. League selection, just like poker, is what table you sit down at, just as much as how you play your cards. This is everyone knowing they watched the last draft. They're watching this draft. If you're in a league where you really know everybody, hey, by the way, Ride Dyers, hey, you're moving on to the finals, my friend. Glad to have you here, man. Talk some smack. We want to hear good pick, bad pick, value pick. Ride Dyers, you got a golden ticket next to your name. A super
he made it.
ticket
Nice.
There.
He
had the third spot in the last semi, so he's in there. He gets to throw his opinion around. Do your thing over there, but if we can get through the entire third round without another QB, let's go. This is so sick. This can happen.
Somehow Rafi did it in like 1 or 2 drafts, didn't he?
Well, yeah, but he was doing it in a draft where, not everyone was playing this way. You know what I mean? So, I just like that it's going to be a total metagame call. We'll see what it does to compress the quarterback value, because it has to come off at some point in the next couple of rounds, and the turns are going to have to do their thing, right? Because there's kind of that round and a half value compression of the turns have to do what they have to do. They can, it can only go so much.
Oh, I like Tay start. Neighbors, I'm on Raw.
Yeah, Rafi for sure. This is I feel like our drafts get crazier than like analyst drafts. When you see like all like the big brands do their mock drafts, and usually there's a lot of like fancy savvy picks, not going to grab the quarterback.
They play it safe.
Yeah, we go full degen over here. We're playing for first. We're not playing for like, well, I have a blurb written about this guy, so I kind of got to pick him.
Right?
Yeah, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Frank, you might have to take over, man. I've been drinking quite a bit of whiskey. I'm not gonna make it through this whole thing. I gotta take a little potty break, man. Give me a 30
take your time. Yeah. No, I'm here. Just looking at here, running down the draft. As opposed to the first season. I like that how you mentioned that. I'm gonna go through here and look and see. Okay, so Unogas, first guy to take his 2 QBs, Bo Nix, Kyler Murray. We also had Nader take Mahomes here in the third. So there's kind of a run happening now, but I mean, just these second and third round, that's nice. I mean, everybody's not really panicking, taking the positional players. And kind of waiting. I mean, Earl took the early Brock Bowers. Finally, here goes Trey McBride for Lord of Fana. Like it. These guys are. This is a good draft. I like this draft here. It's coming up. Let's see who constructs it the best here, because at some point there's going to be drop off with these positional players. So you're going to have to pick up the QBs and see who's going to be better. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Aiden, in Atlantis Fantasy Mock, everyone would go 9-8 or 8-9, or we would go 12-5 and 5-12, no in between. Yeah, that's true. That's what, we kind of wait a little bit longer. And he's like in Vince's team. Let's take a look at Vince's team here. Where's he at?
106 for Vince over here. Everybody always loves.
The one. Yeah, it's the swing, right? Saquon Barkley, BTJ, Garrett Wilson, and Baker. Yeah, I like it. Hero RB build almost.
Let's see here. Oh man,
I like Duarte, Justin Jefferson, Puka, Brees Hall, Kamara.
Yeah, it's like I gotta go look over like the value here. This range of QBs is interesting because I feel like I want to wait a little bit, but when you're at a place like Earl, you kind of just have to take who you have to. I I think Dak feels kind of nice there, though. I like that quite a bit. I think what you were saying, Rafi couldn't have taken Henry over Achane or BTJ. Dude, Achane feels like he's going to get so much work. So much work. Everyone around him's injured. I think BTJ has like a real shot to be like potential. Like, I almost have like BTJ's rising in my rankings a little bit. My projections for the team are just like if they don't have a great defense and have to throw it a lot. And Travis, I just have to knock Travis's projections. I'm aggressive on Travis Hunter. When I knock Travis down even a tiny bit and have to give him over to BTJ, BTJ looks really good in my projections. Like he looks like CeeDee Lamb in my projections, straight up. Less catches, but more touchdowns. Like I've got BTJ like at like 14 touchdowns. Like it just doesn't feel crazy when you stat it out. It's just like where else is it coming from? Like I can't give the running backs that many touchdowns.
I had him last year, and he's a rising star. I agree with you.
I could see 1,200 yards and 14 touchdowns. Like I could I could just see it, you know. So yeah,
Tate's throwing up a nice team here at the end.
Yeah, that does feel good. No QBs left, but I feel like that's again 5-6 turn. I feel like you can still go. When I was really pushing this, I in some of our early Friday night mocks, we did a super flex, and I did one where I just straight up told everyone I am not taking QB until I absolutely have to, and I was kind of mentally prepping for Scott Fishbowl, where my take was I want to go as late as possible, and I did. I ended up going like 10 and 11 QB in Scott Fishbowl, literally not waiting till the double-digit rounds. And this, I basically artificially told myself I was at a turn. I can't remember if I was 1 or 12, but I would think I was like 101 or 102. And I ended up saying I'm not taking a quarterback till at least the 7-12. That's the earliest. And if I think there's a way I can make it to 8-12, I'm going to. Basically, I wanted 8th round. And I ended up pushing it once to the 8th round. I didn't quite regret it. It looked okay. I felt a little better when I went 6-12, 7-1, slight tier breakup. But I think at the turn, I still think you don't technically need a quarterback till the 7th round. But I think 7, 8, you've got to have 2, I think, through 10 or 11. Otherwise, you risk getting, at least in my eyes, at least you kind of miss some of the upside players.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Tayberg still feeling good over here. Double
Tayberg,
rookie start.
Duarte. Let's see what Aiden makes the choice on, and we either get a guy still continuing.
Yeah, paying off so far, right? You know, when you go that and you just see a bunch of blue and green, you feel pretty good about it, right? So
there you go. So he took Caleb.
Unstacked Caleb. Okay, sometimes in this range, you kind of feel like some people feel obligated to go with the stacking quarterback, and so they take him there. It's more interesting when it's unstacked because they see that as just a clear tier break over the next group. And I don't mind that. I don't mind a little upside in grabbing Caleb at the top of like the Purdy, Goff, CJ Stroud, Jordan Love tier. Feels like maybe we're disrespecting Goff a little bit potentially, but Caleb with some legs, super safe. It's like Ethan over here, friend of the show. How you doing, bud? I like that team at 12. JSN in 4. We feel pretty good about that. JSN going. Notably, if you compare to one QB, this is JSN going after Marv, after T. JSN normally goes before Marv, T, Garrett Wilson. Usually, JSN's in the Ladd, AJ Brown range. So he got him basically 3 wide receivers later than he should. I
honestly, that's why I feel he should be going, though. I think people have been bumping him up too much. Personally, yeah.
Really? I got to be honest. I've been going the other way on JSN. I'm kind of at the like, it feels like JSN is like they're in a 2 wide receiver system, so it's going to be condensed. It feels like in 2 wide receiver situations, usually they're both pretty good because it goes nowhere else. But I feel like JSN actually he won as an outside receiver last year and on the inside, and I felt like there was that turnover to like, oh, it's not QB play anymore. It's just he's just open everywhere and really good at football. And I felt like it took a while for him to get like the recognition to kind of do the thing. So I guess I would agree. I think JSN has like an AJ Brown if he were more of a slot smaller guy, where sometimes I think there's the possibility he could disappear. But I don't know. JSN, I'll just say it's comfortable. JSN's starting to rise up my boards a little bit, but I just can't give him as high. I'll say I think JSN could push Ladd McConkey for a better role with more targets. Like if JSN doesn't get unlucky in touchdowns, I think he's closer to Ladd. But it's my spicy pick. I've been in on JSN's talent for too long, like Garrett Wilson. So maybe it's a bunch of copium. But for those of you that like, I think who has another strong take on JSN? I think it might have been Andy Holloway of the Fantasy Footballers. And I think there was someone on FP, but I heard some takes on JSN. I'm like, you know what? I kind of agree. I'm actually pretty in. But we'll see. I think it still doesn't feel like a good pick. I have been finding other ways to just not take him there and take a running back. Hampton and Harvey feel good. Are you buying the RJ Harvey at the 512 over there? Are you between RJ Harvey 512, Caleb Johnson 7-7? They go pretty close in a lot of other drafts. Do you have a favorite?
I'd say Harvey. I think this last weekend he had some good showing here. Like I said, I wait and see on these guys. So I like Harvey.
Yeah, Ethan, I'm with you. I'm with you on JSN. Me and you can be JSN truthers together. I don't have like all my thoughts together on it, Ethan. I'm gonna be honest. It's sort of a conglomerate of. I tend to be spicy on wide receiver rooms where I do projections on all the teams. I feel like it's been something I've been trying to build up to for a while, where I take the time to really potentially stat out a bunch of teams. I don't have the tools and technology or the tech smarts that other folks have. So it's just an old school Excel spreadsheet. It's ugly, it's messy, but it's teaching me a lot about how I look at offenses. And when I play around with the numbers as a total offense, it's got me looking at Vegas lines a little bit more to figure out range of outcomes. And it's made me look at condensed wide receiver situations with high levels of upside in a similar way to how we look at running back expected touches. And JSN comes out quite favorably in when I do that. So,
yeah, I mean, there's that point there, with DK and Lockett gone, what I mean? And because last year they were there and he was, putting up those numbers for him. So, I guess I'm not sold on him yet. I want to see him do it, but basically mostly because he was behind DK and Lockett. It's a different thing to be the number one without that support, right? Or, to be the guy, right? So I guess I got to see it. I'm not hating on him. I don't know. Maybe you'll make me come around on him.
Good. Yeah, I think we did I sounded the red alert on Joe Mixon, and I feel like part of me wants to buy into him being a value pick. Part of me just thinks, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm willing to be wrong on Joe Mixon. I think Joe Mixon, Tyrone Tracy right now is so close for me. Aaron Jones, I just think, is straight up a better pick and a better offense. And I like Jordan Mason. I'm just saying I'm also the guy that says outside of injury, if Aaron Jones does not get injured, he's like the clear RB1. He's clearly like a guy that's been very NFL talent savvy. He doesn't just win because he's faster. Some people can do that. He's just been a good player. I've always been a guy that's like David Montgomery because I saw he was a well-rounded, gifted NFL talent, mind, body. I think Aaron Jones is probably that. So I keep falling in love with running backs that go after Mixon. And I just have to keep sliding him down because he hasn't given me any reason to love him outside of he'll probably get a lot of work. And now they finally have a pass catching back that I love and more pass catching weapons outside of him. And yeah. If I can be out on Mixon, I'm going to try to. What do you think about this, Frank? What are your thoughts on T. Higgins? Rafi's saying he just can't get into it at his cost. He's destined to miss at least 3 to 4 games. With as many targets that Chase gets, he feels more like a wide receiver 3. I know I have my thoughts here, but can you give me a take on T. Higgins at cost, knowing that Rafi's pointing out that he typically doesn't stay healthy for 17, and it's usually, I think most analysts are projecting him to miss 2 to 3. I think 3 to 4 is maybe slightly aggressive. I think I want to stat him out for 15. What do you think about T. Higgins this year?
He's, again, like you're saying, if he stays healthy, he'll be all right.
He was doing like 18 points per game last year when healthy.
Yeah,
which is basically
Nico
Collins.
In the 3, it's just it's too high a risk because he just hasn't pulled seasons together yet. Like,
Do you like? So we'll play the
I
game
think
in
that
this
one
draft,
year
then.
that Chase held out is the one time that I think he was in the healthiest, right?
I mean, I feel like when I've done the homework on T, the idea is his points per game has just been pretty elite, regardless if Chase is in the lineup or not. It's hard to look at him because he's such a not a touchdown dependent player, but much like AJ Brown, sometimes if he catches the deep ball for a touchdown or deep ball and fall to one, it can change his outcome quite a bit. But he feels like his points per game has been very, very high, regardless of what's been happening. He just happened to do very, very well when Chase was out of, had to. So he had the yards, the touchdowns, the everything, the full wide receiver one situation. I don't know what.
And it's almost like he broke
compared
down
to Marvin Harrison
back in when Chase returned that year. It's almost like he broke down after that too. You know what I mean?
So, like,
it was like, oh,
yeah,
you got the best out of me. Like I was able to hold out before injury hit me again. So
yeah,
take that for what it is.
I mean,
I don't know. I think I would just go one round later.
Rafi, for me, here's T. Higgins' thing. I feel like when you draft him, kind of where he goes. What I think the truth of the matter is, you are drafting an upside player with volatility, but who has proven upside. There's just a lot of paths to it not happening. And you have to ask yourself, do you believe that there is another player that has a different combination of floor ceiling that's better? And you're usually asking yourself at wide receiver, right? Because when you get positionally, that can get into a build dependent thing. So for me, like, Marv is the better wide receiver. He just is in a worse situation than T. I think, JSN, I think, is a more talented wide receiver than T. Higgins actually is. At this point, I think that's straight up. I just think JSN's very savvy. They play very different positions, right? But we get to Mike Evans at 4.5 versus T. Higgins. That's when you're like, that's where you're drafting at T. Higgins, because you're like, well, even if Evans is a ceiling play, T. Higgins in that offense and that defense, if he feels like he could get there. Garrett Wilson is that offense sucks, but he's going to definitely get 2,000 targets, right? That's the difference. We take Garrett Wilson above T. Higgins generally, even though Garrett Wilson is in a worse offense, because we just know Garrett Wilson's really good at football and will get 1 billion targets.
Yeah.
So with that logic, I think for me, I do slide T down a little bit, because I think the chances he wins me a league versus the times he loses me a league is disproportionately towards the loses me a league situation, where I see a guy like Marv or JSN as, look, if they have a down year, their floor is still pretty high, right? But their ceiling is just as high, if not higher, than T. So I moved T just a little down my board for that logic, though. I'm not going to say that T. Higgins isn't worth 18 points a game, though. And that's a high bar to reach when he's healthy. So he's maybe the one player where I'm not saying it's an injury thing. It's even if he plays, and he's going to play a lot. There's just a lot of outcomes where, like, JSN is the 1, T. Higgins is the 2. It's just offensive ecosystem, but we're giving the 2 like a lot of a bump there, and I think it's maybe a little rich for my blood. Fair to say, Rafi? I think we're in sync there, maybe.
Yeah, because I would just take Harrison over him, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, these are just elite ones that are extremely talented. Where if the situation,
I might even take JSN over T. Higgins. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I'd still take T over Evans, but not over JSN and Marv. So it's slight in the wide receiver rankings, but it's big in where they go on the draft board.
Yeah,
that being said,
I think that's where the cutoff is, right there, Mike Evans.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe I would have just pulled the trigger at quarterback there and just said, probably not. I mean, 3rd round, maybe not. But if you think the tier is flat, like for me, actually, they're straight up. It's not T. Higgins for me. It's actually like the Breece Hall, Omari and Hampton pick. That's where I would go straight up, and just like I want that tier of RB, and I think T. Higgins is more replaceable by like Terry McLaurin and George Pickens at 5'7" and 6'6". I feel like are similar to T. And Pastor, I'm not picking on you with the T. Higgins pick. Like, I like your draft, dude. CJ and then Bryce, like I freaking love your draft, dude. Like, it's a really good draft. It's there's the chances that it's top 6 are pretty high right now, Pastor. I like the way you draft quite a bit. But I guess I'll hate on T a little bit. Tay, love the Tyler Warren pick. I just love Tyler Warren. I wonder who else was on the board here at tight end. So Tyler Warren ahead of Loveland and ahead of Kraft, where he kind of goes in that range. But yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Lawrence and Ward. So Tay's doing a very similar version outside of the Judkins pick. But I will not be drafting Judkins in Superflex inside the first 12 rounds probably. Lawrence and Ward are like guys that I'm going to draft a lot. Tay's pulling it off. That's a spot where like I will definitely do like the 7-8. I'm going to split it. I'll just take one quarterback here so I can still go hyper late. That's nice. That being said, I definitely over the Judkins pick would have taken any of those quarterbacks for sure and felt like 100 times better. Tay, man, you guys got to know by now, man. Judkins is not going to earn you points, man. I'm so out on Judkins. What's your take on Judkins right now, Frank?
I'm not relying. Just that Cleveland Blackfield period. It's kind of like who's going to be the starter over here, and who's going to be actually putting up the numbers for you. I agree with you. I would have took Geno Smith or Bryce Young instead of Judkins there.
Yeah,
just as his, second or whatever Ward.
Vegas has Cleveland as the I think either the lowest or the second lowest projected win total and points by like a lot. Like the third and the second, the third worst and the fourth worst were actually like more than 2 or 3 points away. Like Vegas really says they're going to be like super bad.
Yeah.
And that's so bad at running back. I don't know. I mentioned it in Discord earlier, so maybe you guys have already heard the rant, but bottom 2 team, bottom 2 offense, bottom 2 PPG. That is a death sentence for a running back who is guaranteed to be in a timeshare. The question is 2 or 3 man timeshare. It's just a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot to get behind.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be touching.
If the O-line doesn't care about playing football, and I wouldn't blame them. Yeah, dude, I don't see it happening. He would have to be so good to pay off his draft cost, like so good. And there's other players there where I'm like, Tay, I know you're in here, but like, hear me out, dude. There's just no way you should take Judkins over J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins is legitimately an RB1, not a fantasy RB1, but like he's gonna get like for a while, like the Najee Harris as an RB1 was like, okay, it's Najee. He's going to rush 20 times for 80 yards and probably catch a pass, sadly. That's what the Steelers offense became. JK's that at minimum, but a little more explosive, a little more talented on a team that knows how to use the running back with a very good offense. Yeah, if you're telling me that Dobbins couldn't be David Montgomery to RJ Harvey's Gibbs, like Dobbins at this point in his career, how much different is he from David Montgomery? They're both quite good. Yeah, I mean, Ayuk, honestly, not even. I wouldn't even take Ayuk. I wouldn't even consider Ayuk there until J.K. Dobbins. I would have taken J.K. Dobbins over Zach Charbonnet too. Dobbins is just such a good pick there, and so is the wide receivers for sure. But we'll see. Like in a real draft, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, even on these, at this point, I would just take a stab at a Dallas guy. We're not really sure who's starting over there. It's like a Javonte Williams and Jaden Blue.
Yeah, I'm still taking Jaden Blue there. Just because Dallas loves to go for it. Dallas loves a spicy play. When they don't have loyalty, they want something spicy. I feel like Jaden Blue is actually from Texas too.
Yeah.
Like if Jerry has anything to say about it, Jerry's going to want Jaden Blue playing. He's going to want the press coverage.
What was that message that Mike sent us earlier today? He was mentioning that even the other 4th Street running back over there at Dallas.
Philip Maffa, I think.
Yeah, I even picked him up in Dynasty.
Yeah, Phil. I don't even think it's Philip. Shoot. I think his legal name is Phil Maffa.
Phil Maffa, yeah. So, sometimes I would just rather take those guys versus guys on Cleveland, period.
See, now I love the Benson pick, man.
Other than David Njoku. David Njoku I do like at Cleveland.
Yeah, no, I like that. I mean, him and Judy should eat, dude. I'm not actually like the Tillman. Like Tillman should be okay. Like Tillman's an upside dart throw, but like Njoku's like poor man's Kelsey. Like Njoku should easily be like the Trey McBride of the team, the Evan Ingram, but better. Honestly, I think that's the case, and Judy should just be like a slightly underperforming wide receiver 1. But I do think Njoku is basically the 1B in the pass catching tier, and he's going to be fantastic. This whole little group of I like Njoku, I love Warren, I love Loveland is skyrocketing at my boards, man. I think he's going to be way better than people think. My hesitancy is the quarterback room might not be good. Like I like Kraft and Ferguson way better because the quarterbacks and the passing rooms just seem way more surefire thing. And actually, Pastor, me and Pastor draft very, very similarly. Honestly, he did the I'm going to go with a security blanket at quarterback. And then I'm going to go super late at quarterback, which is what I like. And then he totally punts tight end and gets 2 guys I think could finish like 6 and 7. Pastor, you are almost penciled in as
He's
a top
in there.
3 for me.
He's
like,
in there.
I don't even say top 6. Sure. Pastor is like almost for sure a top 3. That's
I like Nader's team as well. Draft. I'm scared about Cook. He hasn't signed yet. He's holding out, but I like Nader's team as well.
Rye Dyers says, my fear with Tay's running backs is that they all have no certainty as to what's going on in the backfield. I know everyone's high on Hampton, which I am as well, but Najee will play. Najee will be a halfway decent backup. He'll be like a nice little Trey Benson for James Conner, except Hampton is Rye Dyers. I'll be honest, I cannot possibly humanly be more high on Hampton, and my current take is even with a fully healthy Najee as the RB1, my take was after one game of taking carries with the same O-line, Hampton is going to be so ridiculously night and day better. Like as just one of the filthiest running backs, like a top 5-6 dynasty back, that it will be a version of Bucky Irving over Rashad White, except it will be immediate in week 1. Like by week 2, it's 50-50. By week 3, it will be a cardinal sin not to have Hampton taking 15 carries to, maybe 10 the other way or something like that. It's steamy, but when I say I just know he's that good, I know he's that good. Like he is the prototypical, he is an NFL running back. He's just that guy. So Hampton at the 312, baby, sign me up. In Super
he's
Flex.
a little volatile because he has 2 rookies right there, Hampton and Harvey.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really though. Like everyone says that about rookie running backs with that draft capital, they always pay off. Like no team takes a rookie running back that early because rookie running backs typically are in their prime earlier. Historically, if you look at charts, they have their best fantasy finishes earlier in their career, like almost immediately. And
they're younger, they're faster.
Yeah. There's more predictive stats from year 1 to year 2. There's less predictive stats of how they're going to be as a rookie because it's so down to how you read the situation versus how the situation plays out. But I'm just saying, if the talent is what I think it is, then I think it's basically written in stone how that's going to go. Where the RJ Harvey situation for me is a little more uncertain because I think RJ Harvey is going to have high value touches, but I don't really know how often. I just think the offense is good enough that I don't care how it happens. It'll just happen. I'm going to will it into existence.
It's going to be hard to say.
Yeah, if Breaking Ball would have taken Diggs or Downs instead of Debo, that team would be very nice. I'm rising on Debo, but he is not Diggs or Downs for me, for sure. And I do agree. I don't knock the take ball. I guess I got to move us so we can look at the draft boards a little bit. Last couple picks before we get in. But yeah, I do agree with that generally, Rafi. I don't think it made or break their team, but you know me, I'm such a Downs truther and I'm a Drake May truther at this point, which means Diggs is going to have a nice season. All of them will have a nice season. So, and Vince,
oh yeah,
I keep hitting him. Hey, we're in sync. We were trying to do the same thing there.
Yeah, I was just looking at his draft, a solid draft. Once again, that 1-6, that swing it seems to. I mean, if somebody's in that spot, you're just getting best available, or just the teams are just falling into place. I can't think of how many guys have already looked at that spot, and I like most of the teams that just coming out of that spot, and the 112 this year at the end. So, for what it's worth, it's not always that way, and these guys are putting it down. I mean, that team stands out.
Yeah, I agree. So, Yeah,
Like Dr.
Uno
Ken's
Gas.
team,
I think Uno
Dr.
Gas 2 drafts, baby. Did you do 2 drafts? You finally got there. Uno's been sleeping on us, and I think he successfully did 2, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
He did 2 drafts. Uno, let's go, dude. I'm freaking proud of you, man.
Yeah, I'm really
job,
liking
buddy.
Nader's too. Nader's team.
Mhm.
See, that's why I would take Rogers late like that. See, look how Rogers went in the 14th
My man,
as its
Uno.
third QB. That looks better.
Yo, what's up, Doc? Doc Watson, I haven't heard nearly enough of you in chat, man. I like the way you draft. I need you to know, Doc, that I'm apologizing to myself sometimes on like the way I watch you draft, my friend. We are in sync, actually. I have been trying to get you higher in the rankings. There's always been like 1 or 2 picks that we're just not quite there on, but I like the way you draft, man. I'm gonna throw it out there right now. I think we need to connect. I need to hear you in chat more. I need some opinions. I need to get to know you a little bit here, my friend. But I think we agree on too many darn things to not be hearing more of you in chat. So appreciate you, my friend. And Uno, you're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. And Gibbs Henry, how good does that feel? How good does that feel, buddy? You know that feels good.
I think Doc might have got in there on this one.
Doc is in there. What do you think? What do you think of Doc's draft? I'm liking it. I think I was talking like still a little spicy on Mixon. I prefer B-Rob. I prefer Jones, but the fact that he got Ford and J Will to at least solidify it, so it can be fair upside versus necessary upside, eases it a little bit. Tua, Bryce Young. I think I prefer Bryce Young a little bit. I think I would have waited around on Tua, but what would it have netted me in return? Because Reed on the comeback was really nice, and he's probably one of my picks there anyways. A super tier breaky. So Harrison, Evans, Devonta Smith, Reed feels really good. Yeah, Doc, you're in my top 6, I think, bud. I really like this.
I like the Loveland pick where you took him at.
I would have liked. I mean, if you could have taken Ertz instead of Thielen, just in case Loveland has a slow start, like I would have liked. This is a situation where I would have liked a second tight end. If you could, I would have taken Pitts over Tillman or Ertz over Thielen in one of the spots, because there is a chance we don't know what Week 1 Bears looks like, and you have to admit, Watson, Doc over here, if Week 1 the Bears are an actual tire fire, your only exposure is Loveland, and you can't do anything with him. Because I hate to say this, but you could be streaming tight end Week 2 until something happens. So I kind of prefer 2 tight ends at the same time. Who cares? It's such with Superflex, there's so many other positions. A onesie tight end isn't going to break you. So splitting hairs, I wouldn't call it a mistake. Personal preference.
Hurts on the end would have been nice.
Yeah.
I'm not touching Pitts though. You can throw that guy.
Yeah, Hurts over Pitts for sure. Right. I'm with you there. So
other than that,
Doc, he was talking a little bit. 2 and 8 stack was the reason, and almost Strange. Yeah, Strange is definitely a candidate. I like that a lot, especially if the snap share has to go Strange's favor, because Strange has an opportunity to actually be like the 2B with Travis Hunter, because Travis Hunter, I think, is from a snap share perspective, is going to be all over the place. I think my challenge is actually, Doc, I'm going to be honest with you. When I have HN, that's why I said I don't like the Tua pick. It wasn't just I prefer Bryce Young with his upside. It's I think they're in similar tiers for me, but because you have HN, I prefer that the run game be a little better and a little more necessary, which means I want Tua to run through the air with a lot of checkdowns, which is bad for a quarterback technically. So I think there's some anti-correlation. It's not entirely. If the offense is good as a whole, it's correlated. But if the offense is mediocre but not terrible, HN could still have an RB2 season. So I would prefer to be away from Tua on that week. Plus, this is a 5 bench spot league, and you know that you're going to be benching Tua. Well, he's your QB3, so you're probably not starting him that week anyways. But Anyway, the point I'm making here is when I draft HN, I don't want Tua, so I would have preferred somewhere else. Just a heads up there. But the draft was so good already, we're splitting hairs. Uno Guest says, where did he mess up? I don't think we were talking trash about his team. I think this is more I think some anxiety, Uno. I think you stayed awake on the caffeine pills and you're worried. I think Gibbs, Henry, and two quarterbacks that feel good. You basically got Murray, about half a round ahead of Dak and some other tiers of guys. I don't think that's crazy. Like, I think you could have waited, but when I look at Evans, a wide receiver you could have taken versus DK the next round, you took it close enough to where I don't think it affected your draft too much in a bad way. DK, J. Will, Flowers. The Mims and Trey Harris pick is where you messed up, Uno. That's what I'll say. Mims, there's just no way he's going to be even startable is the challenge. And in 3 wide receivers, yeah, you're going for upside, but you kind of want someone that you can slot in for sure, too, as your wide receiver 4. And
I would have taken Darnell Mooney over Mims.
Yeah, I would have taken Mooney for sure over him. I would have even taken Keenan Allen over him. I would have taken Christian Kirk over him. Christian Kirk is the wide receiver 2 in Houston. Keenan Allen is the wide receiver 2 on the Chargers. Well, you could argue that Keenan is actually more the wide receiver 3 for the Chargers, but unquestionably, Christian Kirk is the 2 in Houston. And his point, I will promise you, his points per game is better than Mims, 100%. The Mims pick is kind of shooting for the moon with Knicks. You're doing the Knicks Mims thing, but for me, that's a best ball play, not a redraft play. The amount of times Mims kills it for you on your bench is going to be more than you want. So not my favorite play personally, especially with Mooney there as a 2. I think you drafted a 3 functionally over a 2. So that's probably a difference. Bray Davis, I love that pick. And Trey Harris, I'm not a fan of. I would have rather had, I think Kyle Williams has more upside in New England than Trey Harris, especially after the Keenan Allen signing. And then I would have still preferred on that end. I would have preferred a Tillman is the 2 in Cleveland, or even a DeMario Douglas or Palmer, who I think have elevated roles in their depth chart. Where Harris needs to beat out a lot of people for a lot of snap shares just to do something. And even if he's good, he's still a rookie, and he's going to have a lot of the veterans just play over him. So,
now, how do you feel about his handcuff there with Hill and Henry?
No, I feel pretty good about that, to be honest. I am a bigger truther on Keaton Mitchell versus Justice Hill. I think Justice Hill is a guy you start when things go wrong, but this is a pretty fragile RB build. So he's actually drafting him as a true handcuff where I think if something were to happen, Justice Hill gets a bulk of the work. I'm a little higher on I think Keaton Mitchell's a better running back than Justice Hill. I think Keaton Mitchell has he has some A-chan in him. He can really do things with the ball. And I feel like if given an opportunity, Keaton Mitchell would just take the jobs from Justice Hill pretty quickly. That's just my honest to God feel. Chat. I don't know how else to tell you other than I think the NFL at running back's brutal. It's like you can just date a girl for a minute and then, she's a little cuter. I don't know what to tell you. 4.5 yards a carry, 4.2. What do you want me to do? I just think that's how brutal it is at running back. And while the Ravens are a little more loyal,
I'm me. I wouldn't have took since you took Hawkins in there. I wouldn't have took Ingram.
Well, what I was going to say, Uno, is your specific build. I think it makes more sense to go Justice Hill. You are drafting him purely as a fragile build. You need the stability, and that makes sense, right? So I'm more willing to go Keaton Mitchell without Henry, where I'm more Justice Hill if you have Henry. So I think for that reason, it makes some sense.
And Vince is on there with you too. So not sure Justice is the handcuff. He's the 3rd down back, pretty exclusively. Keaton is the piece you want. Justice is fine for best ball.
Yeah, I guess my other point too there, guys, is I think my challenge, I think you're dropping Harris first. Who are you dropping off the waiver wire? I think the sad truth is Hill probably gets the axe unless he sees a lot of time. But I think Hill was playable last year the same way that Spears was playable with Henry, right? I think Justice Hill, because if they need a change of pace in the actual game, this is the situation where Hill is the handcuff, but the more valuable player, I think, is Keaton Mitchell. And the league winning player, I think, is Keaton Mitchell. I don't see Justice Hill as ever being impactful enough. He's just, I've been saying it a lot. 3rd place is cute. Justice Hill for me is the archetype of I think you need to go a little bit bigger. But in your very exact situation, I think you were saying, hey, I have 2 RBs and my RB3 is basically a slightly playable handcuff. And so you were going for how do you stabilize that? but you drafted so well the rest of your draft that you don't have a stabilizing pick. You need to go for upside when it's presented to you. So am I going to harshly grade Justice Hill over Keaton Mitchell? I'm not going to grade it harshly at all. It's the same pick for me. It's opinion-based, but it's not a mistake. So you're not getting dinged even a fraction.
And so here, Uno Gas comes in. He's like, how do you feel about Pollard now that Spears has got hurt? You guys still high on Spears? I think we're both high on Pollard now.
Yeah. And that's, let's be fair, right? Spears, at whatever his ADP settles to, I have to find that out, right, guys? But I won't say on record that I'm low on Spears just because he got hurt, right? He didn't get hurt in the same way that I was down on his college profile because of the arthritis in the knee. I don't like that he got hurt. I think for his build, him getting hurt is really bad because I think he's always trying to fade injury. So when it happens, it's like, now he's more susceptible. How will it go down? But Spears is just a really good player. He's proven it time and time again. The same way we think Justice Hill is good. He's that, but a lot better. I mean, Justice Hill didn't take Henry off the field in the same way Spears did, for sure. So if you're telling me there's a player out there I can like buy the dip on an injury that's not serious, he's there. I don't hate Khalil Mullings though, Vince, but not Khalil Mullings' season. Sorry, he just needs more experience. Like, yeah, he's a converted linebacker. We've seen the archetype work out in the NFL. I think he's gonna need more time, and Pollard's gonna have such a stranglehold on the field where Khalil Mullins is not the change of pace back that's going to make sense in the same way that Spears is. But hey, look, I know you're saying you're just being silly here, but like he went crazy off of the waiver wire because everyone who didn't like Spears obviously rushed to it. But I would rather buy the dip on Spears than say it out of them. I've been in on Pollard the whole time since last season. You guys, I think, know this. So it feels bad to be like, ooh, I get to profit from the injury. I would rather be the guy that stands on the like Spears perfectly healthy. I'm in on Pollard. I don't want to be the guy that takes advantage of an injury for my take credibility, I suppose. So looks like Rafi is also Mitchell over Hill. Again, guys, I just want to highlight that I don't think it's a mistake, but a personal preference on a league winner, right? I think that's fair to say. But we've been going for a long time. It's 11. I know we got so many people watching. I feel so good, man. 53 people watching. That's super cool. Glad you guys could come.
And let's get some likes in here too, though, please. I know we do a lot of these that the likes really do help. I know that most of you guys are subscribed, so I'm not going to ask for that. But I did want to mention he was looking at his least favorite. We were looking at our favorites. Let's look at a least favorite for once. Here, I love Kittle, but I would have gone a wide receiver. I would have attempted to wait on Donald to come back and turn to grab Andrews. I agree with you. I think he's one of the only guys that went kind of heavy on the RB, and I think that's where I would have just grabbed the wide receiver where Connor's at, and then another one at Kittle. I think the team would have ended up better. I don't think he could have waited on Donald anymore or anybody else there because he would have got even worse. So I think that he did good by where he got Donald at, but
I'll defend him real quick. Just in the, if you're going to go heavy RB and kind of play like a weird best ball amalgam at 103, the Shaheed Hollywood Wandale Palmer was a very, very perfect 4-pack of like Palmer could have a bigger role in Buffalo. Wandale is already the 2 and Neighbors has the toe. He caught 100 passes last year. Hollywood isn't perpetually injured. Like, don't get me wrong. I would have rather had Christian Kirk than Hollywood, but he does have upside. He's a Chiefs wide receiver. When healthy, he could be good. And Shaheed knew, like, he drafted a lot of like, ooh, these are wide receiver 3s that could really be something. He gave himself a lot of outs to, hey, I'm going to start Waddle and Judy every week. And then I'm going to figure out between this 4-pack what makes sense. But I'm always starting these three RBs. So it actually works out okay for him. I think it's also really easy on the waiver wire to just drop the injured wide receiver that's not proving to have enough upside, and he's gonna play the waiver wire aggressively at other roles. Probably gonna get his QB3 off the waiver wire immediately. So I'm not gonna nug him for not having a wide receiver, a quarterback 3, because he could probably find the, I think the New Orleans quarterbacks didn't go right. Shuck or Rattler didn't go, right? So
No.
he can grab that as his 3 right away, and no problem. So I'll defend him a little bit, but yeah, not my favorite. I think he lost some flexibility later on.
Yeah,
But
I just feel
yeah.
like he'll have to trade Connor or one of these guys off just to get a better wide receiver in core.
Like my thing is like
they're all wide receiver 3s. It just doesn't sit well.
11 through 14, I guess there's a lot of like you need to hit all those players need to hit to get in your lineup. He drafted players that can play every week in these rounds, and so I don't hate that exact build. I don't think it makes my top 3 necessarily, but I'd have to look his individual decisions. I'd have to also give him credit for like Kittle at the 5-3. I'd have to look at that one a little bit more. Not like Jennings is certainly not my favorite. Like even little decisions like Jennings over Downs. I like Cup and Downs over Jennings, so that's a decision I probably would have gone the other way on. Hollywood Brown I would have gone a slightly other way on potentially, but the rest of his picks aren't there. A lot of them feel quite good. His running back room really is good. Bucky Chase Connor is one of the best running back rooms in the league. I think we have to just throw that out there. A lot of people have 2 good backs. He has the best 3 backs in the league next to Aiden with Bijan, Travion, and then Aaron Jones 8-9. I feel like Aiden beats Ken at RB a pick later while still getting value later. So I think Ken boxed himself into a lack of value at some point, but very stable. He seems like the build that will get into the playoffs, and he needs upside to win. But I think he could easily get to the playoffs. Just have a good team. So that makes some sense. Would you have? I went very balanced. Lord of Fanta says, would you have gone heavy wide receiver or running back in a draft? I don't know, Frank. I'll answer this second. I want to throw this to you based on what you've been seeing because we've been grading builds for a little bit here. Based on the way you see the board in ADP, do you feel like the way you are going to draft the board this year is slightly favoring leaning one position over the other when it's close? And when or where? Because I guess I have a nuanced answer to this question, but I'm curious what you think.
I think I'm doing what he's doing. There's a little bit more balanced approach as he has. But if I'd lean anywhere, I would probably lean on the wide receivers early and just get the running backs later. I think there's a lot of opportunity later on. There's a lot of big blob in the middle there, I think, of these guys just kind of being the same, other than the top, the top running backs are great, but then you get into that blob there. So you kind of want to lean on the wide receivers early and then hold off on the running backs later on just to pick some of those guys up that you can fill in with. I think there's a lot of guys later that are just kind of about the same. You know what I mean? So there's no rush to get to those guys. So you could just wait and get the wide receivers earlier. I think that's why I would probably lean on a little bit more.
I am with you, man. But chat, we are probably going to close it out here pretty soon. Just want to throw some stuff in the chat here. A couple quick things. And so if you like what you hear, if you're new to the show and you haven't seen us before, you like what we do a lot of mock drafts. We're a little slow on our pre-recorded content, but one of our other owners over here, Phil, we actually talked to him earlier today, and we're going to go ahead and get a couple of our shows back in line, get our values, busts, sleepers, league winners. We're going to get those shows done in the next couple of weeks. But if you like mock drafting, at a minimum, if you have a favorite analyst, but they are better for you in rankings, I'd say we're known for really practically like how competitive ADP plays out in real life, nuanced draft strategy, builds, what makes sense. And we're good for having a drink and getting hammered on a Friday night with a good mock. All right. If you like hanging out, entertainment plus a lot of mock drafts, come check us out at the, definitely check me out on my channel as well. I've been hosting a lot of this. Check me out at the Fantasy Football Tavern because I will finally have some content for you guys coming up soon. So please subscribe if you can, just so you can be aware once I put videos out. And when it's not, no problem. Please do subscribe to the Get Right Fantasy Network as well. Great place. The best place to find us, once you're subscribed, of course, certainly we appreciate it if you can, is find us in our Discord. That was the new addition this year. We're really much more of a community than we are a channel. YouTube's fantastic, and we like it quite a bit. We're going to do quite a bit more, but what we're really doing here is just building a really awesome, cool mock drafting community on the Discord. During season, even outside of it, me and Phil are sort of our dynasty heads, and Mike and Frank and all of us together definitely I'll handle the redraft and mock streets for sure. But if you're in the Discord, we're always answering questions. It's a fun community. It's a good community. Throw your dynasty trade questions out there. I will answer them with, I'm not kidding, a 3-page novel. Really goes nuts.
He's not kidding about that.
When I say 3 pages, I mean I'm pushing the boundaries of like I've made posts where like I've just gotten dotted lines because you have to expand the post to like a separate page. So we really do try to give back. The other folks give very good advice. There's a nice community. There's other folks that run mock drafts or leagues or channels too. So you can come to our page to find other people and other good content creators because we'll always, promote their stuff and you'll have a chance to get in their drafts, their contests. So really community oriented. But if you like the content that you see in here and want to give back a little bit to some creators hoping to do more in the space, subscribing helps, liking the stream helps. Hop into the Discords where you can find all of our stuff and updates. And when we're doing nothing, it doesn't harm you. So always a good time there. Helps us quite a ton. And we put a lot of time into it. So at a minimum, I feel like it's free content. We'll monetize at some point. We take all the donations. We got electric bills to pay. But until then, until we feel like we deserve it, all free to you guys. So shameless plug to help us out a little bit so that maybe we can pay an occasional electric bill or two sometime soon. But I guess that was my my humble job as host to do the thing, do a little bit of marketing. You guys get it, Get in the comments, as Brennan Lee Mulligan would say. All you D20.
Join us on Discord. Get in on this, mock draft tournament. This is our 4th year doing this. So if you're new to our channel, definitely like, subscribe, get the notification bell so you know when we're on. Get on our Discord channel. Find the tournament mocks here. Get in on the mock with us. There's plenty of places to be had, and there's guys are, as you can see, doing 2-a-days right now, and they're tough to mock with. They're tough cookies here. You're gonna get some real feedback. Baby. Yeah. You're gonna get some real feedback instead of just auto drafting or having these guys drop out. As Shield this year, Chambers coming up, is that they are really close. And I don't envy you guys for trying to figure out who are the top guys. That's why we have 4 or 5 guys here grading, or it's impossible. It's really hard. It is. I mean, you're having to nitpick this team over that team for this reason or that reason, not just because you like the player, but the build, the guy who has a better opportunity. Did somebody just get hurt or not hurt? Did they know that prior to the draft? That kind of type deal. I mean, you got to take some of those things out of there, especially when news comes out when the player's been injured after the draft. So you got to realize that obviously when he was drafting, that guy was in good shape. So yeah, it's really close. So definitely join us on our channels. Got the Discord, Sleeper, and obviously YouTube here, but everything's kind of moving over to Discord. It's easier for us to control. Everybody has Discord. Not everybody has Sleeper. And you could join our mock drafts there anyways. So you could, get in on them.
All the things.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get there. But hey, thanks for hanging out. This was week 2, qualifier number 5 and 6 of our 2025 4th annual mock draft tournament. Appreciate all of you guys on X that are listening in, all you guys on YouTube that are listening in. Certainly appreciate it, as we said. But more importantly, thank you to the drafters. Thank you for the drafting community. You guys put your heart on the line tonight. Well shown. I am not looking forward to grading these. It is a lot of work that I'm going to need some more whiskey for, and probably some time in the morning after the whiskey to really check my takes a little bit. But hey, for all the folks at the Get Right Fantasy Network, from Frank, from Mike, from Phil, from your favorite humble tavern master over here, thanks for coming out. And with that being said, Frank, should we play a little music for the chat?
Yeah, for sure. Peace out, people.
Peace.
Wanted to write fantasy is the play. Marking nothing, but I tune in every Friday. Strategies provided, I will lock in every way. So go